everyone, it's Priya here, and in today's video I had a craving to use acrylic inks in an illustration, so I decided to create my own mandala and just create this very like a design element of this mandala and have all those different patterns on it. And I just created this from my head and I drew everything out with a graphite pencil. Everything is not perfect. The circle was drawn freehand, so it is a little bit wonky here and there. It's not perfect, the circles as well in the center, but I just wanted to have fun with this piece and I wasn't looking for perfection, so I just went ahead and I drew in all the different design elements for this piece, and then after that I went over with some black ink to outline it as well as some black fine liners. So this was a very a different piece to what I usually paint and draw, but I think it's really fun to, and it really helps your creative mind to try new things and try different things and not only stick to the same thing that you do. Yeah, obviously I will still be painting and drawing what I usually do, but I think it's sometimes fun to just do something a little different and something that's just relaxing and just have a fun painting session. So I would highly recommend you grabbing your sketchbook and just having fun creating a mandala like this, and just paint it. It's really fun. So I got really happy when I got to use the acrylic inks, because I haven't used my acrylic inks for a long time and it was so much of fun applying the ink to the design, and I had a lot of fun with it. So I decided to start off with some yellow and pink, and I alternated the outlines for each one. So I had, like, for the yellows I put the edges around the petals, I made them pink, and for the pink I had the edges around the petals, I made them yellow. So that was what I decided to do with this one. There are some areas where the color went into other areas, but I wasn't too worried about it. As I said, I wasn't looking for perfection. I was just wanted to have a fun creative session, just painting and creating this colorful design for this painting or this illustration. So I wanted to create a different look with which got unique colors as well as unique color combinations. So I started adding for the background with a sort of a deep blue-green sort of a color, and I started adding that color around the entire flower in the center. Now you will see I'm going over those round spots that I added to the center, to the mandala around the flower, but I'm going to come through later on and I'm going to add in some gold paint to those, so that's not a problem. We're going to come back later and basically bring those out again. So then I went on the outer ring of the center, and then I started adding some yellow to those little blocks that I drew around the center portion, and I had no idea that they balanced off even the petals all around the mandala as I drew them. I never counted them, I just went ahead and just drew them, and I wasn't really paying attention to them, but luckily they were really they worked out perfect to have two colors, so they didn't have two of the same colors next door to each other, and that was actually a surprise because I didn't expect that, because I did not like plan the painting or the design. I just went ahead and started sketching, and then I started inking, so I wasn't really counting how many blocks I'm gonna have and will it be even or anything like that. So I was really happy when I saw that they all blended together, or they all worked out together, that they had the perfect amount. Then I went with some pink again for the outer petals around that ring in the center, and those little dots that I've actually painted, those yellow dots around these pink petals, actually was not really necessary, because I am going to paint over everything with that blue-green color again, and I'm going to come through later on and add gold to that as well. So that step was really not necessary, but I had fun with the whole process, and this is something I would highly recommend to you to give a try. It doesn't have to be very complicated. You can see this was very simple and nothing is perfect. The petals are all not exactly the same. The circle is wonky and not perfect. It was just a piece that I wanted to have fun with and just be creative in my sketchbook and just have a relaxing sketchbook session. And I think that's really what matters, is just having a fun time creating. And I think that's something that I really enjoyed with this piece. And also layering in the colors. I think the colors, it really makes it pop with the ink. So I think that was really fun for me to add those different colors on here, and I think it really comes to life later on when I start adding the gold as well as some white elements to it, and I think that really brings the whole thing together. So now for the outer edge, I wanted to change the colors a bit. So I decided to add a green to some of the petals or leaves. I'm not sure what those are. It's just the shape of them that I created. As I said, no thought went into it. I just wanted to create with it, or create something that I could use to color in with my inks. So I added some green, and then I decided to make the ones, the next color in between the greens, I decided to make those purple. I'm just going around the whole piece. Now it's important to remember that as you're working with inks, try not to let your hand touch the paper, because you can smudge certain areas if they're not dry, as well as you can blend certain areas into one another. So be careful when you are adding your colors. So then for the center, I added a lighter blue, because I do have the word gratitude written in the center with some flowers, but I am going to come through and add some white to that later on. Now you can see I'm just adding the gold acrylic paint. I'm using acrylic paint because I wanted it to really stand out. So I'm adding the gold to those little dots that I covered earlier on with the blue-green color. And I just think that really brings it together. But when I was looking at the piece as I completed that, I was looking at it and the black borders looked very dark. So I decided to go around those borders with some gold acrylic paint. So I went around the one in the center, around the word gratitude. I went around that one with gold, as well as around the outer ring of this design. Now, like I said, it's not perfect. The circles are not perfect. I was not looking for perfection. I just wanted to create. So it was just like sit down and create and not think about anything. So that was me just painting and going ahead with the whole design. Now I started using the white jelly roll just to add some dots around the petals. I think it really adds some dimension and more interest to the piece. And I just added it to all the pink petals as well as the outer edges of the yellow ones. There is one that I missed there, but I am going to come back later on and add the color over there. There you can see I added the dots there. And then I decided to add the dots to the purple petals or leaves or whatever the design is on the outside. I just want to add it to the purple ones, but then it looked odd, so I decided to add those to the green as well. So I was very happy with adding the white because I think it really made the entire image pop. And then I was just looking at the yellow petals like they needed something else, so I added a little spots to the pink petals as well as to the yellow petals as well. And then I went over the word gratitude with the fine liner or the jelly roll, the white jelly roll, and I just went over and created those little flowers. And then I just did a little border around the word gratitude. Like I said, the circle's not perfect, but I just added those little spots and I just went over the border of that. Now at this point I was just looking at it and it was not looking very neat, so I just wanted to neaten the edge by adding some fine ink lines around the circle with the gold, as well as adding these little curved lines to create a little bit of a dimension to the piece. And also I went around the center ring with the way I went over the white. I went over it with black. I think the black looked better. And then I went over the edges of the gold border that I put around the outer ring, and I just created a border with the black on the inner part of the ring as well as the outer area of the ring. I think that really brought the whole piece together, and I think it really helped to make everything look not too dark but also have a bit of separation between those, that gold border. And I think the gold and the black, it really brings it out by having it bordered off that way. And then I just, after creating those borders and letting them dry, and basically it's anywhere that I just went over, I just basically wiped off the areas that I went over, certain places that I didn't want the black to show. And then I just went with the fine liner and I went over the flowers, and I basically, that was it. I just went over the flowers with a little like a scribble over the flowers, and there we have the completed piece. And I must say this was really fun, and I would highly recommend you to try something fun and simple like this. It really helps your creativity. So I guess that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, don't forget to like and share. Feel free to comment below and don't forget to subscribe. Till the next one. Bye.